just as crazy and I don't know what to do. So I made a podcast for me and for you. Pizza sauce and diggly digs, everybody loves a digs. Japanese girls and 80s flicks, rock and roll like Stevie Nicks. Mafia humors, elder rules, telling you what's wrong with school. Bruno James and Dan Marino, talking shit on people we know. Hockey fights and cracking beers, living life without no fear. Oh, my brain, what's inside? I don't know what to write.
Like weird Japanese shit.
Turtles and Hot Pockets. If you don't like those, I don't want to be friends.
Hey, welcome back to the show. I'm Matt Manny. It's weird how you can have a beautiful day and yet you're trying to self-sabotage. You're just trying to ruin that day for yourself. You just won't let yourself enjoy it. So I'm trying to reflect back on basically I didn't get anything done today. So I'm beating myself over the head about it. I'm beating myself up over it. But like it was a beautiful day. The sun was shining. It was lovely just driving around. And I'm trying to remember that like these things I was doing, I had to buy, food and I just went to a bunch of grocery stores and markets and I love that shit. I love it. I love looking through stores, different products and just look the possibilities of, what can I do with this? Snacks I never seen before. I love all that shit. It makes me so damn happy. And it isn't that, it's the interactions. I think it's one of the most beautiful things about America, but really any place. But, when you live in a more homogenous country, let's say, I'm always going to say China because I lived there for a long period of time, but you're going to run into a lot of people who, of course, are different, have different, unique life experiences. But culturally, they're going to be kind of coming from the same place in a, I know that's a generalization, but still somewhat true. For example, today, though, I went to the produce market. I ran into this black gentleman. I think he was more like Cuban or like Dominican. He had that really dark, rich complexion. But we caught eyes and like I could tell he kind of just had a lighthearted attitude about life. And he gave me a head nod. I gave him a head nod. And we kind of chit-chatted for a little bit, went on our way to, do our whole produce thing. But I could tell this was just like a happy dude. He was just happy to be alive and be out there. And I seen him in the parking lot and he spotted me and he went, "Good man." He's like, "This is a good man right here." And I was like, "Oh, thank you, sir." Like it was just I was like, "Have a nice day, sir." 30 seconds later, I go into the liquor store next door that I had went in before. The owner is a Jewish gentleman, young Jewish guy. And I don't know, I don't think he's a Hasidic Jew, but he had the yarmulke on and you could tell like a lot of the stuff in there is kosher. It's not just like a guy who I met and he goes, "Yeah, I'm Jewish." Like he's practicing some segment of the Jewish religion where it's part of his daily life. He's not like a Christmas and Easter, as we call them in the Catholic religion, which apparently Jewish faith has a similar thing. They just go like Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur or whatever. You just twice a year, whatever. It's part of your culture. It's not really your religion as much. So talking to this guy, then I go in there and I'm talking to him and we're shooting the shit. And there's this guy in there who's like, typical like New York Giants, white dude from Jersey type of fan. Cool dude though. And I'm chit chatting with him and it's just beautiful. Like just shooting the shit, man. I love it. I love bullshit. And it's there's I don't want to say the art of bullshitting because everything gets slapped. The art of this, the art of that. I'm sick of that. But there is like, not only a skill and a talent, but there's for me, I get such an enjoyment out of it. I love it. Like it's a performance, not in the way that I'm being fake, but in the sense that I'm so engaged with it and having so much fun and the dialogue and listen to what he's got to say. And then I got a quick little thing to him and he starts laughing and I got him going and bringing his perspective on what he thinks about bourbon and beer. And we're having this, just beautiful little conversation about, different bourbons. I went in there for produce and then I went in there last week to check out just the selection they had of bourbons, see if there's something special that catches my eye. And he had me taste a couple of bourbons. We got chit chat. Next thing you know, I'm drinking like 110 proof bourbon at lunch. And I'm like, Jesus, my girlfriend's going to be wondering why I'm buying so much produce lately. But it was lovely. He said, anytime I come in, just ask what he has behind the counter. But this Wiseman, he let me taste it there and I wasn't really blown away. It was fine. I mean, how are you going to really know what you're tasting? It's the middle of the afternoon. Just drinking straight whiskey and it was fine. It was good. And it was like $45. I wasn't really thrilled at the price given it didn't blow my mind, but I got it home and put it on some ice and I did like a double take. I'm telling you, this stuff tastes like dried, like you hear all that bottle wank bullshit, all the sommelier tasting notes of wild cherries. And I'm telling you, this tasted like fruit, like dried fruit, not overly grossly fruity. But I was eating a baked potato with it. I had my dinner and I was like, whoa. I was like, what? Was there something left over in the glass or something? It's crazy how much the water has changed the complexion of this to this really fruity, but it's still got a bite and it's still a little smoky and spicy at the end. Really good. But we were shooting the shit about beers and I was like, yeah, the guy was like, I love bourbon. That's why I have such a good selection at the store. I was like, yeah, I love bourbon and beer, man. He's like, the other guy, the salesman was like, oh, it's a great combo, great combo. He's like, Miller Lite, baby, that's my shit. And I was like, that's funny. There are like, I was like, I like the other stuff too, but like everyone comes down on those beers. But, oh, you're going to drink the stuff in the silver can. I was like, look, man, I love the IPAs and all that. When you go and get a nice pint somewhere or, they have a time and a place. But I was like, there's nothing wrong with those canned beers, man. I was like, they're the best. I was like, I was like, what am I going to do? Drink 12 or 15 IPAs on the beach, double hopped IPA? No, it's not happening. I want the Coors Light, baby. He's like, yeah, man. He's like, exactly. He said it before I said it. He was just like, exactly. I want to drink 15 beers. That ain't happening with those IPAs. It's just not happening. He's like, I want to go tailgating. I want 15 of them fuckers. It was great. Like it was just this connection, but I don't know this guy at all. I don't know a single thing about him or who the hell he is, but we had this same connection. And I guess that's why I've been getting back into like really enjoying beers and the culture of food and beers, because it's just like, it's this beautiful thing we connect over. And it's just really, everyone's got to eat, everyone's going to, not everyone's going to drink, but people like enjoying beverages. Oh, then after that, I wound up going to a Korean supermarket that I didn't even know existed, this little Korean market. And I'm chit-chatting to the two ladies behind the counter, and they're lovely. Just as lovely as could be. It's just, I love all that shit. Just love getting out there. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. But I guess it just reminded me of, you feel, it's what's going on. People aren't talking to each other anymore. Just get out there and shoot the shit with people. That's the real, I feel like everyone, you see all this shit in the news and whatever, none of that is real. It's the bullshitting that sounds like it's just nonsensical small talk, but that's the real shit. That's people, you're not putting on an act. It's just, that's how people really feel about each other. I'm sure if I got to know any of these people today more at a barbecue, I'd love them even more. If these old ladies had some Korean barbecue for me, I'd probably be like, these ladies are wild. They probably get hammered on shoju, and the cooks were wild there. It's just like the whole thing. People are great. You know what I mean? It's strangers are great. I hate my family and friends, but that's a whole different story. But strangers, I've talked about that before. There's something about strangers. You don't know what you're getting, and they're not coming to you with baggage, and you're not coming to them with baggage. Just this pure human interaction, just at face value. A lot of judgment based on other things, like looks and smell, and but it's lovely. I love it. So anyway, I had a good day, but I'm beating myself up because I didn't get enough done. But I shouldn't give a shit. It's my birthday tomorrow. Oh, happy birthday to me. I'm going to be 33. It's weird because it feels like I should be older than 33 because the last couple of years were so goddamn long, just so unrelentingly long. They also went by fast, but long. And I tried to think back, like, what did I do for my birthday last year? And then I was like, okay. What was the year before that? I was like, I was like, oh, that seems like light years ago. Oh my God. That was like, then what did I do the year before? I was like, holy shit, I was in China. Oh, your head starts spinning. You're like, oh my God, like the difference in time. It's just, and this is, we all feel this. But I'm trying not to beat myself up, and I really have been doing great. I know I'm good. I'm good. Oh shit. I can gauge like my mental health, mental well-being, although not really. I can gauge how happy I am and invigorated, I guess is a better word, by how many tabs I have open. Right now I have 2 Chrome tabs, and then on each one of those I have like 15 different tabs open. That's how I operate. I love that shit. That's like, if I only have like 4 or 5 tabs open, that's not a good sign. I'm probably too focused on like, gotta get done all the shit on my to-do list. It's like, fuck that, man. Just go where the fuck I want to go. I got Kelvin temperature history. I got Japanese art, all this shit. Mac Miller, just so much shit. Oh, this dude's art is awesome. So I feel like I'm going back to, maybe it's because my birthday's coming up, or maybe it's because my mother passed away a week and a half ago. And some part of me thinks maybe I'm kind of reverting back to parts of my life, or just looking through my life and like, oh, I used to be into this, or I used to be into that. I think I'm just gravitating towards things that really make me happy. And those happen to be things that I was into at different periods of my life. And maybe for whatever reason, I got too busy, or I had to focus on, they fall away. But it doesn't mean I stopped liking them. Like, I love skateboarding. I love skateboard culture. I love just all of it. I love the art. I love the boards. I like the shoes. I'm not even a big shoe head, but I love the shoes. I love the videos. The videos are probably why I even wanted to get into like filmmaking and making videos and editing, because it wasn't just the tricks, obviously, are badass, but it was the soundtracks that went over the skating and the hilarious nonsense that these guys would get into, screwing with each other, and they're drinking in parking lots and just goofing off, having fun with their buddies. But it was done in such a creatively beautiful way, like it captured the world. And then there's the whole aspect of the cities. I also think really skateboarding and skateboarding videos were a big look at this one's great. Oh God, look at some of these. Big influence on why I wanted to travel, because skateboarding videos to this day are still some of my favorite travel videos. Now, okay, they're not like always going to like, this is the art museum, this is the restaurant. They're more on the streets. You get more of the real shit. And then when they do like sometimes film themselves eating and stuff, it's like street tacos and like sausages in Germany and pretzels. Like, it's just so... It feels like what it would feel like to just go hang out in these cities for a day. And they just happen to be skateboarding as well. But I feel like that was like a real precursor to like Bourdain for me. Before like Bourdain shows existed, there was skate videos, and there was Late Night with Dave Attell, which was more focused on like bars. But he also interviewed people who had like late night jobs, or, people who drove like street sweepers and shit. That was such a good show, man. That guy is so ahead of his time on so many things. He like invented the travel show. But either way, I'm leaning into all these things I like, but then like, I love it. I just love living in that space. So I watched this documentary about Steve Rocco, the man who sold the world. So this is the guy who started World Industries. And if you're not familiar with skateboarding, World Industries is, they make obviously skateboards, clothing, t-shirts, all sorts of shit, skateboard parts. But they have these famous characters, which they didn't always have. Like, it's just learning the whole backstory of how this company got started. So they have this guy's Wet Willie, and this is Flame Boy. And then they got this little devil guy. I think he's just called Devil Man. But this is like the 3 most familiar things, but they were such a cool ass company. And they have other companies. Let me see. Because in addition to World Industries, they started like Blind, which was another skateboard company. Like, they had all these, like, it was like a conglomerate almost. And then these other sub brands underneath. And it's just super interesting. Like, the thread of like how easily this stuff could have not existed at all, and the crazy risks that these guys take and the crazy nonsense they got to do. Wee Man actually from Jackass actually narrates this documentary. And you see like that guy, Jason Lee, who was the actor in that, like, My Name is Earl or whatever. I had no idea. He was a pro skater on World Industries. Oh, there's Mike Valley. I had this dude's shoes, one of the best shoes I ever owned in my life. They were like $110, but dude, they held up forever and they were comfortable as shit. Rodney Mullen was also behind starting this company with Steve Rocco. They were friends. The whole thing is just amazing. And then you see the guy who's like the producer from all the Jackass movies. He was associated with World Industries. He had, he was creating a magazine called Big Brother for like World Industries, like as a secondary project, because they got kicked out of one of the magazines for like crazy ads. Like their ads are nuts. Like really, they had an article in their magazine, Big Brother, like how to kill yourself. And it was, which actually is super, super interesting. Like if you think about it, I understand it's not the best thing probably for kids to be reading, but like you do think about it, these are things that human beings we'll need to deal with it. We experience them. We all wake up in the morning. There's a philosopher, forget who it is. One of the philosophers basically says like every single morning you wake up, you have a decision to make. You decide to live. And it's true. Like, animals don't have that, they're not like, I'm going to go run off this cliff. So I don't know, it's just an interesting article in my mind to explore something like that. Like, it doesn't mean I'm going to do it. I can learn how to build a cannon. Doesn't mean I'm going to fire it at myself. It's just, I don't know. It's just interesting. Either way, these dudes were so pushing the limits so far ahead. Stuff now that would not only I wish you could do, because it created such good art and such a good culture around the shit that they were pushing. Like, I feel like we often think back to stuff that's old, like, oh, this is tame. It's weird that in some ways, like comedy, art, movie, there was like a lot of stuff that you can compare and you're like, oh, that's super tame compared to like what's on network TV now is insane. Like the amount of sexuality, the amount of violence, all that stuff. But then you think of what they were getting away with. Like these ads are crazy. There's one, he's like getting fucked in the ass by Devilman. And it was like a competitor put this ad out. It was like crazy shit. It was just wild. Like there was just so much crazy nudity and just awesome shit. Like just so beautifully creative, pushing the limits of how fighting with other companies and they would just say awful shit. It was unbelievable. The ads that they would run and the artwork. Oh my God, the artwork on the boards was just so unbelievable. So it's weird that they were able to do things that now we'd be like, we would never get away with that. And it's like, well, why? Like that pushing that led to other great stuff. But I'm so into that. Then that led me to watching this Thrasher documentary on this place called, it's called Grindland. And it's about these guys who started these two friends who started these skateboard park building companies. One of them, these are the guys who built Burnside. And I never knew, if you played the first Tony Hawk video game, there's this place called Burnside. It was like underneath the highway overpass, and it was like all kind of ramshackle. There was like a random wall and a random bowl. Like it looked like somebody just threw skateboarding pieces like together. It didn't make sense. It's because these two dudes built it themselves, Mark Scott and Mark Hubbard. And they built that, and then they just started building other ones in their hometown. They got hired by this guy who's just like, yeah, dude, you can use the land. And then they wound up blowing up and building like thousands of skate parks throughout the US and Europe, super successful. And they built not only a lot of parks, but some of the most well-known and most innovative skate parks that really led to, a boom in skateboarding, specifically in like transitional bowl skateboarding and stuff. So that was super interesting. Like you see all this stuff, you interact with it and you don't know anything about it. And I feel like that's the best place to be, is like just that little bit of investigative nature about your mind. And you're just like, I heard about that. I don't know anything. The stories behind this shit is always amazing. Like unbelievable how cool these dudes are. And then Daewon, I don't even know if I'm saying that right. Sorry, brother. But Daewon was on the World Industries skate team as a kid. He got like kind of discovered by Rodney Mullen when he was just like skating in this like school's parking lot. But like this dude, I know him, obviously. He's a legend, one of the best street skaters that ever existed. And so this is a super cool documentary just about his life and his upbringing. And it just follows. Like, here's one about Andrew Reynolds. I can't wait to watch that shit. Like, all these guys. And when I was into skateboarding, the thing is we had to go to the skate shop and buy the VHS. I still have a bunch of like Trans World VHSs, or you had to go like the CCS magazine. Do you remember getting those? I love them. I don't think I ever ordered a damn thing out of those because I would just go to the skate shops and shit and buy them. But the CCS magazine, I love just looking at all the decks and all the shit and all the clothing. And I'm like, oh, look at these wheels. Look at this. Oh, this is awesome. Look at this hat. Like, I was so into it. But, you couldn't just pull that thread, which I guess I'm really realizing the beauty of the internet is amazing. YouTube, like, obviously everyone knows it's amazing, but like you forget how amazing because we take it for granted because it just exists now. But like, if we wanted to watch something, like we had the Toy Machine, my cousin had a shit ton of videos. The Toy Machine Welcome to Hell video, I believe it was. Like, you would watch that. And then if you wanted to know more about like Jamie Thomas or whoever, you'd have to go buy another skate video. Now I'm just like, oh, who? Oh, Kareem Campbell. Cool. Oh, this guy. Awesome. Like, I can just click around. It's unbelievable. I'm loving it. Like, we should all be smarter. Like, this stuff should be making us, if not smarter, more interesting. Christ, people are dull. But anyway, I'm just loving all this shit. Oh man, this makes me just want to do art so bad. Fucking Mark McKee's awesome. I love this one. This is fucking amazing. I need this shit. I love this old school pinup shit. Look at the Fudgesicle girl. That's fucking amazing. That's so good. It's so good to the point of like, I want to be able to create this kind of art and I'm not good enough. I don't know. I just can't do this shit. I could work at it, I guess, but I don't feel like doing that. Whoopsie, I whistled. You know what I mean? Because I have like ideas for this kind of stuff, but then I can't pull it off. But God, that's so good. The colors and the fucking Fudgesicle box. It's so simple and so good. What is this one? Some of this shit is so ridiculously racist and stuff. It's fucking great. But the thing is, that's the shit. You see these skaters and like they interview him about like these decks he would do for him, the deck art. And they'd be like, that's awesome. Like they had, in this interview, they had these full page ads in the skate magazines where it said white power. And it was a black and white photos of like the new up and coming skaters. And it was being sarcastic because none of the new up and coming skaters were white. Like so many skaters at that point were all white. And then it was like Kareem Campbell, Daewon, who the hell is the other guy? There's like this Filipino kid. Shit. None of them are white though, but like that was the balls that they put out a big full page ad saying white power. And it's funny if you watch like the Daewon interview, he's like, dude, I didn't know what the hell that meant as a kid. Like, because these guys were kids and it was like this dude, Steve Rocco, was running the company, was older than them. He had all these ingenious like business and marketing ideas. And it's like Kareem Campbell brings them. He's like, dude, check it out. And they're like, white power, huh? And he's like, who gives a shit? We're in an ad, man. Like they were just so blown away as kids that they were in an ad. Like they're not even thinking about that shit. And really the idea was that these are the next generation and it's not going to be white. So it's like, it's not even saying anything bad, but this is the fucking stupid world we live in now. You can't do anything that has even an ounce of creativity because it'll be pissed on. Which brings me to another point. Oh, and then this like kind of leads into Jackass and stuff because the producer from Jackass, like I said, he was running this magazine called Big Brother. And then I guess you could see how Wee Man was skating with these guys. And then somehow he brought in Johnny Knoxville and like there's crazy videos of Johnny Knoxville just like testing home defense equipment. Like I always thought Knoxville, I don't know where the hell he came from. I just thought like he kind of just existed. Like he just started doing dumb shit because he was friends with these guys. But like he was already doing awful things to himself. Like back then, there's a video where he shoots himself. He's got a bulletproof vest on, but it's like the shittiest bulletproof vest he could find. And he trusted it at point blank range. It's fucking ridiculous. Like, holy shit, dude. Like, what the fuck? these dudes were nuts, which it gets me so into that. You know what I mean? But then I had to look up Larry Flynt because I was like, I know that name and I know the people versus Larry Flynt. But Larry Flynt's like the publisher behind like Hustler and Porn and shit. He bought the Big Brother magazine off him because it was losing money for World Industries. And they're like, who the hell's going to buy this magazine? This is insane. Like, this magazine's nuts. It's got a bad rap. It's got bad publicity. The people who read it love it, but it's just not making money. And then it cuts to Larry Flynt. He's like, I love it. I had to have it. You need something that's pushing the boundaries of freedom of speech just to make sure we get our money's worth. It's like, these are the people that the world needs. You know what I mean? Like these characters that are pushing things. They're willing, and not only willing, they need to. It was a fantastic documentary. I highly suggest you check that. Even if you don't give a shit about skateboarding or the history of skateboarding, it's just a super interesting human story. Any of these are beautiful. And who the hell knows? Maybe you wind up going like, I'm into skating. Like, I can't even do any of the stuff I watch. I just enjoy it on such a deeper level, just an artistic level. Larry Flynt, look at this fucking guy. He's the man. He's the man. We need more of this guy around. I'm going to look into this other movie. I'm going to watch this other one, Larry Flynt for President. This came out in 2021. What is that? Tribeca Festival. Is there another movie about him? Larry Flynt for President. Oh, he's raised in the hills of Kentucky in poverty. Oh, man, this is going to be good, I bet. Staunch advocate for the First Amendment. Yeah, hell yeah. Hell yeah. Butted heads with the so-called moral majority and found bro fiercely. What does he say? Flynt reserved in 1983 to announce his candidacy. He tried for the Republican presidential nomination. He tried in 1983. His platform, he said, was simple. Every ounce of energy that I can muster would be devoted toward moving the massive repressive hand of government from the crotch of the American people. He's got a point there. He's got a big point. Government's gotten way too big. Way too big. I'm going to check this out. This sounds great. While you're at it, watch this shit. Oh, is that him in 1983? He looks like a fucking character. This dude looks like the man. He reminds me of, what's his face from Howard Stern? Artie. Reminds me of Artie Lang a little bit. Shit. I got to find out more about these people while they're still around, you know? See, there you go. This is that thread. And now I'm going to learn more about this guy. Why the hell not? But yeah, I'm just into it right now. I'm riding whatever wave comes along, you know, and I'm trying to enjoy the day, and I'm trying to just let things be as they are. You know what I mean? Oh, I took 3 hours to food shop, whatever, you know, what was I going to do? Come home and worry about the fact that I'm not getting more done. Like, literally, that's how we spend most of our time, worrying about the fact I'm not getting more done. And I needed that time. You know what I mean? I needed that time alone in the car. It's weird. I feel like I'm fine dealing with everything that's been going on in my life lately. And, the loss of, obviously of my mother. And I think everyone deals with it differently. And for me, I feel like I deal with it best alone. That's just how I am. And I feel like I've been fine, but then, I'll get alone. It's something about the car and music and driving and shit. And you just get total time to think. And then, you realize, and then I'm in the produce market, and I was thinking like I wasn't going to, not to be like, oh, see, I'm not going to. I was just thinking, like, what if I just collapsed crying right now? Like, just started crying like horribly, just like I can't, there was some song on, or just thinking like, what am I doing with my life? What am I doing here? Buying, it's just buying produce. Like, I don't even have, I don't got money right now. Like, what am I doing? I'm out just pissing away time. And what if I just whatever, just thoughts came into my head. It's my birthday tomorrow, and my mom's not going to be around. It's like, what if I just fell apart in this produce market with all these people around me, these random people. And I realized somebody would probably come up to me and put like a hand on my back and just like ask if I was all right. Like it sounds crazy, but like all of a sudden I kind of looked around, like met eyes with some of these people. And I was like, they're not so much strangers. You know what I mean? Like, because if I saw somebody crying like bad, you know, not like just like, and they're on the phone, but like really just crying themselves, I would at least ask if they were okay. You know what I mean? Like, hey, is everything all right? Because you never know what the fuck people are dealing with. And I just kind of realized like people would like, it's weird. Like this produce market felt somehow like this, we're together. This is like this little safe space. And I feel like, you know, I just saw kindness in people instead of fucking strangers with your dirty fuckers. Get away from me with your masks and your, you're in my way. And I got places to be. You're leaving your fucking, don't touch my fucking cart. Don't touch my cart, motherfucker. Get your fucking, you're in the way and you're touching all the apples and like that all just went away. I guess that's my normal self. That all went away. And it was just like, these people are kind. I think they would give a shit. Like they would care. Maybe they wouldn't, whatever. But, you know, I felt like whether they will or they won't, whatever you want to believe is what they're going to be. Because, you know, your perception in your mind makes your reality. So it was just a nice feeling to be like, well, what would happen? And again, I wasn't going to do it. But like I felt like if I could, just let yourself go. Like, what the fuck? That's the other thing I'm really trying to get to. I didn't really want to talk about it now, but maybe I should, because it's a good segue. Is like the upholding of some facade, regardless of what it is, the facade of intelligence, the facade of having money, and the facade of having your shit together, of knowing what the fuck is going on in the world, like all that shit. You know what? This fucking. Look at this. I bought this bottle of whiskey. The fucking cap came off. Ain't that just like life? Guy sold me a shit bottle. It's delicious though, whatever. But this facade, this need to oh, that's a bigger pour than I wanted. Well, sometimes that happens. This need to just uphold so much. And I don't even know to who, to other people, to your neighbors, to your family, to your friends. Maybe it's more to yourself than anyone else. And it's goddamn exhausting. I don't even think we realize how exhausting it is, but I can tell you that I'm kind of at the point where I'm done. I'm sick. I'm sick of it. I just can't. I guess it really is to myself. But that's what that really led me to. It's just like, you got to keep up. It's the people in a produce market. I don't know these people. Like I go in there almost with like this. Already I have like walls built up and shit. And I'm not like somebody who I'll talk about whatever to anybody. I don't give a shit. I'll unburden myself to fucking a guy, you know, who's picking out cucumbers. Like I don't have I don't have any qualms with that. I never really have. I don't care. I talk to everybody just the same. So I don't mean like I'm putting up walls like people stay away from me. I don't want friends. I don't have any of that. I got great friends, got great family, got all that shit. It's more just a weird sense of who the fuck you're supposed to be as a person to yourself. Like, you know, we build up in our minds who we are. And I see it through people who I know very closely, and they'll say things. And I'm like, is that really you, man? Like, you don't need to be that thing that you're telling, you know, you define yourself through the way that you tell a story, or you discuss this situation that you're in. And then you talk about yourself in this way that's like, that doesn't have to be you. Like I can look at you and see something entirely different, but like you are stuck kind of in this thing that you've always been. Now, you know, there's this, what do they call it? Well, not cognitive dissonance, right? Like it's why once you say yes to something or once you believe in something, it's very hard to go the opposite way, because it's basically telling yourself and your brain that you're wrong. And it wants continuity. It wants, this is what I said before, so I'm going to stick it with it. This is the same for politics, for religious belief, whatever. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter what it is. Just for an argument in your house about how you deal with your kids or how you deal with your pets or whatever, or the things that you like and enjoy. You know, you're like, well, I used to say I do this. I'm a workout person. I do this. Maybe it's gotten boring. Who gives a shit? Or, you know, you say, I love drinking beer and shit. Maybe you've moved on and you're a different person now. You know what I mean? Like, but people feel entrenched in well, this is what I do. This is who I said I am. It's very odd. Well, it's not odd. It's very human, but it's, God damn, that is so good. It's a shame too, but it's weird that, you know, a lot of us know it. So let's just snap out of it. But for me, I walk around, and now this isn't the same as beating myself up because I do that a hell of a lot. Like I said, today I'm wasting time. I'm blah, blah, blah. I walk around and frequently, I mean, like probably every couple of minutes, I just say, I'm a stupid cunt. I just say it to myself, not out loud yet. Maybe I'll get there, but I just like, I'm a dumb cunt. Like, I'm just a fucking dumb cunt. I mean that in like the British sense, just like, oh, he's a fucking bellend, you know, like I'm just a dumbass to myself, to others, just, you know, and it's not harsh either. It's just like a kind of snaps me out. It's almost like a gong in meditation, like, and you just focus. It's something to focus on. It kind of refocuses your brain. And it's like, I got to try to be something to myself or be something to other people. Is like, you know what the reality is? I'm not working right now. I had a freelance business. I was trying to get going off the ground, doing video editing and stuff. And after a year and some months, it wasn't worth the effort. I didn't make shit. I didn't really make any money. I made less than somebody working minimum wage. And it was so much goddamn work. Now it led to some things. I have some good connections and you never know. I'm not trying to say it was a complete waste. I basically got paid to learn. It was like I got paid to take college classes, but instead of college, I learned on the job by just doing projects for companies and individuals all around the world through, you know, Fiverr and Upwork. But I'm not working right now, but I feel like I have to uphold this thing to people because I feel like a piece of shit. Like I'm not working. I was, and it got to a point where the projects that I was getting weren't worth the time for the amount of money I was getting. These people didn't have their shit together, which that in itself is a massive learning lesson. I learned so much about human behavior and human interactions and just how to make quicker decisions based on reading people immediately, which is worth more than any paycheck or salary I could ever get. Immediately, I got so good after a year of just dealing with maniacs from the internet coming to ask me to work with me. Their psychotic ideas and their just these people don't have their shit together in any way, shape, or form, but they exude just mental illness and just complete delusional ideas that they want to then sink into you. And then they want to put the pressure on you. I mean, it's unbelievable. Some of the shit that people have said to me, like just derogatory, like it's like, I'm not your employee. And even if I was, why would you speak to me this way? So in December, it got to the point where people were asking me to do projects that were they were underpaying for what they wanted. They didn't have a clear vision. They weren't giving me adequate assets to complete these projects. And I was like, this is pointless. And then with, you know, my mom being in final stages of cancer, I just was like, I'm not doing this. Fuck it. I'm just cutting it off. You know, I'm selfish in the fact that I'm in a position, I'm lucky or whatever. I'm childish. I'm in a position where I can do that. And a lot of people can't. So I got to suck it up and just keep going to work and chugging that fucking dick that they don't want to fucking do. And that's why I feel guilty like that. I talk to friends and they're working hard ass jobs just to get by and pay the rent. I got buddies in New York who are doing jobs that like they got to stay up all night and work on the computer because the servers are at their company don't work efficiently during the day because there's too many people on them. So it takes them like 5 times as long to do these tasks. So then it's crazy what people are doing. And I have it so damn lucky. I just feel like such a jerk off. And I try to I guess I don't want people to know that, but it's stupid. What am I going to do? I'm making decisions based on the hand that I have in front of me, and this is the reality. Now, given situations and where I'm at, maybe I'll start looking for full-time video work and I'll fall into place with somebody, and it'll all be for a reason. You find the right gig at the right time. And had I taken a full-time job, would have sucked time away from, getting to spend with my mom, and maybe it would have been the wrong matchup. There's a few times I thought I had good matchups and they went down the toilet. I'm glad they went down the shitter after a couple of, let's say 3 or 4 weeks, as opposed to a couple of years. So either way, I'm just trying to be more open and honest. And I feel like me, at least, I'll feel some kind of burden lifted off me. I can just be what I am. I want to be who I want to be, not who I feel like I should be. And there's just so much of that. I got to be somebody family, and certain people are successful and I have to act a certain way to them. And like my neighbors are doctors and I got to blah, 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 blah. Just want to be me. And I feel like I am, but there's parts of it that I still feel I got to feel weird about. And I hope this, I don't know, I'm not just trying to unburden myself here. I hope this sinks into some other people who maybe feel the same way. It's horse shit. It's horse shit. You got to let it go. And that's why I just randomly say to myself, I'm a dumb cunt. It's just a nice reminder, Oh, that's the other thing. Like, I'm not working right now. I'm trying to figure things out, which is, I have such a luxury. I'm such a child. I'll be honest, but I'm goddamn lucky. And like I say to my girlfriend all the time, and she's just like, sounds pretty good. Like, what are you fucking upset about? You have what every single person wants. It reminds me of like, there's in one of the Bukowski books, I remember there's some girl coming to him, and it's like a friend of Bukowski's. His wife comes and he's like, he's having a hard time writing. He's not working right now. Like, can you get him a job? He needs a job to be able to write. And he's just like, what? He's like, I've done some of my best writing when I don't have a job. Like, the job just gets in the fucking way. It just mucks up the gears. Like, what's his problem? Fuck him. Like, it's just like, it's so true. It's just like, I got this, like, oh, you need to be doing something, which I don't think I'm unique. And I don't feel like I need a job. I just feel guilty, I guess. But, and I know I can. I was applying to jobs in November, and like immediately I got a bunch of interviews. They were just like, some of them were in Brooklyn and they wanted me to come. And I was like, it's going to take me 2 hours to get over to Brooklyn for a job that I'm already doing for somebody else very similarly. I can just do it here. Like, I can do it from my house. I got a better setup here. I got a great fucking office. I don't need to go to Brooklyn for this shit. So I'm not worried about that. It doesn't matter. But the point is, I do try to argue to myself that like having free time is this, I'm not just lucky. It's like a necessity for somebody of my means. So I like convince myself that like, I need a lot of time to just fuck around, do it with it, which is true in a lot of ways. I don't want to self-identify and be like, artists need time. But there's so many articles out there by so many ingenious people about like just the wasting time and downtime and bullshit time and daydreaming and all that, how important it is, not only just for the health of the brain, but actually to do any real cognitive tasks, like really heavy workload for the brain needs as much bullshit downtime as it does the time working. You can't just like it's like working out. You can't just like go in and just bench press and do squats for 15 hours every single day. Like, no, it's just little segments, then you need all the downtime. There's some balance. So I argue that I'm uniquely positioned, the way I look at the world and then my thoughts and all this shit. Like, I need this downtime. Like, look at comedians, most of them just sit around watching TV and like, I'm totally delusional in that regard. Like, I'm like, no, like, this is good. Like, this is good. I need this. This is what my brain needs. I need to just be a fuckface and sit around. And I take 3 hours to go buy my produce and, which maybe there is value. I don't know, but I definitely try to convince myself that there is. real value in that. Well, because the thing is, not everyone has the luxury. You know, we say, oh, like comedians are like, well, comedians can't do that. And not to say I'm a comedian, but as an example, comedians can't go to like an office job. Not all of them. And it's very difficult to work a 9 to 5 and then also have these insights. Some of them can, some of them do, but I feel like they really do need like these odd jobs where then like they're just going out and interacting with the world and kind of just taking things in, people watching, observing. Like I need to be an observer. It's what I'm good at. And I've done it a lot for a reason. And I don't think that's by chance. I think it's because I'm drawn to it. Like I said, there's months at a time in Shanghai where, you know, I had very lucrative teaching jobs and then I would quit because of various reasons. And then I was like, I don't need to work right now. I got enough money to float. So why the hell not? And, you know, I meet a lot of characters, whatever. As a writer, I would maybe say more of that I'm a writer. I need to interact with people. I need characters. I need input. So I really do think there is some true value to me living this weird existence. Like I'm meant for this. It's like my girlfriend says that too. She's like, yeah, a lot of people probably say that. And it's just, they fucking can't, dickhead. Like there's like, yeah, I'm meant to do nothing. It's probably what trust fund kids say too, which that's not true. I've met some of them. I got to end this. I'm fucking talking too much, but I met like one of the richest oil families in Texas, and their daughter lived in Shanghai. She worked at a kindergarten. You know what I mean? She needed something to do with her time. She didn't have to work, but she seemed like she had some problems. She was a nice girl, whatever, you know, a little bit older, in her 30s or something. Said she lived all over the world. That's the interesting thing about Shanghai. You'll hear that a lot. It lived all over the world. I guess any large city, probably London, Paris, whatever. I'm sure you have people who are like, I lived all over the world. And then it's like, why did you settle here? So it's probably not a Shanghai unique thing, or New York, LA, you know. But she was drinking pretty heavily and offered to, you know, do some things, to go back to her apartment, do a little, bump it up and do some other things. Woohoo. You know, turned her down, you know, nice enough gal, but for various reasons. It was the afternoon. I had my sketchbook. I was happy where I was at, you know. So yeah, they're not always the happiest, most well-adjusted. Go figure. Just having no purpose in life and just being given untold amounts of money doesn't make you happy. Maybe fucks you up a little bit. Who knows? Go figure. But I mean, she was happy enough. She was, you know, teaching in a very nice little kindergarten. She seemed happy in that regard. So again, we all find our way, hopefully. I think we do. Just keep on keeping on, as they say. All right, I got to wrap this shit up. As always, thanks for joining me. That's enough of this shit for today. I'll see you next time.
Rock and roll, baby.
I got to get a Sambo. Here's the thing.
Yeah, man, come on. Yeah.
Everyone thinks not doing shit's easy, but it's not. Fucking
I'm gonna get weird and go paint some stuff.
That's enough of this bullshit for one day.
Sometimes you just gotta slam them fuckers. Oh, sure.